Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. In this quick tutorial, I'll walk you through everything step by step so you can create your very first Snowflake table. It stores data in row and column format, but Snowflake makes it really simple so you can create your table using Snowflake worksheets as well as you can directly create it from UI. Snowflake tables are just another Snowflake objects. They come under database, and within schema you can find tables. So there are several tables over here. I'm just trying to see the data from one of them, which is this call center. So I'm already on data preview and it's showing me number of rows as 60. Here's the size of this particular table. These are the columns that are present in the table. There are total 31 columns, and this is the type of that each and every column that is there in the table. And you can search any particular column name from here, uh, just like this, and it will show you the exact result. Table details contain description about the table. um these are some contacts that can be assigned, and the privileges or the grants that you have on this table. These are the few things mentioned over here, and when was it created, that time is also specified. Coming to the hierarchy, this is what the table name is, that is call center. It comes under this schema, and this schema is a part of this database. Snowflake sample data is our database, and within that we have a schema which has this name, and under that schema the table is call center. There are other tables as well. There are under this drop down there are a lot of tables. Some are dimension tables like time dim, date dim, and others are more of the same pack tables or dimension tables. There are other schemas too, and which has kind of similar data, as this is something called Snowflake sample data. Within that you can find a lot of data to work with. So this blue color button for the is for loading new data in the present table. Okay, so it says that you do not have privileges to load data into this, but this is how it gets loaded. You can load a file up to 250 MB, and the file types can be anything from these. You can load it to a specific schema under a specific database, so that's possible. Compute is here. You can change your warehouse that you want to use for loading this data. So this is all about loading the data from UI point of view. Now coming to creating a table by um from worksheet. So this plus sign with a this plus icon with a uh, create button is enables us to create a new table. Table can be external, which is from which means it is a tabular form of data somewhere lying in S3 buckets or Azure Blob Storage or on GCP cloud. So that data can also be stored, or that can be viewed as table. um, Add select allows you to create a table from an existing one, so you can create or replace as select star from some other table. And then there is standard table and from file. So uploading a file, that Snowflake will pick up that file and convert it into table. We'll start with standard one. Once I clicked on the standard one, um, it will ask me to select a database. Currently no database is selected, so I can just go for the sample. Within that it will ask me to select a schema. I will go with this one. So now the schema is selected. You can add a new database too. That's also an option. So I will just I will try to add a new database. This is my new database's name. The database has been created. So instead of this instead of going through the existing one, I should be able to see my database, newly created database here. Yeah, it's over here, and now it will allow you to select any schema. I will select it again from, I don't know why it's not visible. Okay, it's not showing here right now. Just close this window and let's try again. Create a new table, standard, and we'll see if new, yeah, so newly added database is here, Snowflake tutorial. I'll select that. Schema, I'll keep it public. And syntax, this one is particularly for a standard table. The syntax is already written over here, which is for standard table. At select, it's something different, so it creates a table as select from another table. um, when it comes to the external one, create external table, the table name with location. So this location needs to be a either a S3 or an internal Snowflake storage, or a GCP storage, or storage from object storage from Azure cloud. Back to standard, select the Snowflake tutorials database again, and public schema, users. Let's specify some IDs over here. Creating a table is not a big deal. It's similar to what you will do in any relational database. Just like most of the databases, Snowflake allows you to define your ID as primary key, just like this. And for varchar, you can specify some size. So the next field is email, and I'll introduce a new thing here. I'll keep provided a default value as null. Let's specify the size setting default to null. Four columns over here. Let's add another one. Okay guys, the table definition is ready. To run this query, I'll select everything, and let's pass a comment to. This one is actually a comment, so let's uncomment this statement, and let's run and see what it gives us. I'll hit the run button, and okay, there's some sort of syntax error. Let's fix this and rerun the query. Currently my role is account admin, so it has a lot of privileges. I think most of the things are granted to this role. And okay, that window got closed because I think the table is created. To see our table, let's go back to databases is already open. This one is our newly created database. Under that, let's have a look in under public schema. Okay, the table is there. So this is what table users that we have created newly, and the description is visible over here. As I specified, it's showing that particular line, my first table. Contacts are not assigned. This is the value with which the table is created. The table definition is here. You can maximize it in a new window, or you can copy the query. Coming to the columns tab, okay, all columns are shown here with their respective type. There is no description for any of the column. You can write description to each and every column, and can add tags as well. Data preview tab, it will show data preview of your data if there is any, but currently the table is empty, so it's not showing anything. Copy history, this gives an idea about if you have moved any data or copied any data into your table. That those all things should be visible here, but as of now I believe there would be nothing. And finally, it's lineage, so this will give you an overview if any other tables or any other Snowflake objects are connected to your table or not. This was the query we ran a while ago. This was the role used while performing the query, and the warehouse attached was compute warehouse. And let's try to run it again, and this should throw an error. Okay, yeah, so if you look closely, this is create or replace statement. If I remove replace, this will definitely throw an error. This says that the object snowflake tutorial dot public dot users already exists. So while creating a table, Snowflake provides you a lot of options to create a table with. Snowflake allows you to create table with different options. The options are create table, add select. So this means there can be a table present in your database. You can use that table, and from that table you can select specific columns of that table. You can apply filters, so you can say select specific rows or column of that table, and you can create a new table out of that. Another thing that Snowflake allows is create table using template. Snowflake, you can leverage this thing and can have a template specified for creating a table. One more option that you can leverage is create table and use a new clause here, that is like. Like allows you to create a table which is similar to an existing table. So whatever structure that existing table may have, structure in terms of c- columns and the type of columns, same will be copied to your new table. The table structure, but not the data. So uh, it will have the similar definition, the similar table definition, but just the data side of things can vary. Other type of create statement, clone. So for cloning from another table, you need to have another table in place. Clone allows you to create exact copy of that table. So for these three types, you need to have another table in place, and that can be used to create a new table. Along with that, first is this one, create or replace, that allows you to create a new table even if it exists already. Create or replace will not throw any error even if the table is present in that particular database. Other than that, you have a simple create table statement, um, and there is other one called create or alter. This will allows you to update the present table definition using alter. So if there are changes in the table definition, then the current table state, so that will update the table. So now as our table is in place, let's try to describe it using tsc table and the table name. um, so table name can be really long based on what you have specified. So uh, once you uh, go to that particular table by following the path, or by tracing the path, here on the right hand side of the table name, you will get these three dots. These three dots allow you to do a lot of things. One is place name in editor or copy the table name, add columns in editor, show view definition, or load data. So there are a lot of options that it provides. I'll just copy the name of this table and will paste it here to see the table description, and this will give you a result with the description of the current table that you are querying. So list of columns, column types, uh, what kind of thing is this. So this is these are all our columns, and if you remember, we explicitly provided this as primary key, which means it cannot be null. So that's why for this column, but for this particular column, which is a questioning if a particular column can be nullable or not, this is the column id is specified as n, which indicates this one, not null. So this column cannot have a null value. There are other things too, like if there is any default value set for a particular column, or the primary key. So again, the id column is a primary key, so you can see y in here under primary key column. Unique key, there is no unique key. We have specified explicitly, so all values are none, and no policy name is provided. There are no comments on any of the columns, and expressions, checks, there is nothing like that. So that that all you can find under description. As table do not have any data, number of rows equals 0, This is the query ID that we just run. Each query we run in the worksheet or anywhere gets a unique ID which is called query ID, and there are no rows. So this is how you create a new table in Snowflake. And if we wanna load some data in it, or we can go ahead and create a row or insert a row. For that, we'll have to run the insert. Let's draft a insert query. Now this time I'll pick up the table name from here, place name in editor, columns. Here are some auto suggestions. You can just click tab. Let's put some values. So strings are generally written in single quote. I have some dummy data. Now on the worksheet you can see there are a few SQL queries written here. So to run just the specific part, just the specific part of query, you can select that particular thing and hit Control Enter, and it will run just that part of the worksheet. To look into the result, let's select, and our newly added rows are visible. The row count is specified as 2, which is correct. Um, and there are data about the columns that is also visible. There are two dates, so it's showing the graphical representation of the dates as well. The first row is representing the data from January and second is from February. This sort of data, some analytics sort of data is there, and you can also download this result. So to get it download, just click on this little download arrow, and this file or the table data can be downloaded as CSV, or not the table data exactly, but the query results can be downloaded as CSV or TSV or CSV for Excel. I think that's pretty much it for this video. Hope you enjoy, and if you enjoy, don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit that like button, so that will help me make more videos like these, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.